There we go. Now, am I live? Am I live? Can't turn my phone when I'm live. Watching. Hi, Carl. I'm trying to adjust this to be, apparently I am live. So if I'm live, let me go. Today, welcome and hello for today, this glorious and righteous day of Taco Tuesday here in Southern California. All hail the glorious, tasty taco. Whether they be store-bought, they be bought at the local taqueria or Mexican restaurant, or your homemade varieties. But the taco shall reign supreme and be forever our tacos. So anyways, today is a rant in review. And here's what we're going to go talk about, because I did this one before. I got absolutely no feedback on it, so I thought I'd do it again. But one of the things that has come up in the month of January is that Attorney General Jeff Sessions has commented that he is going to rescind he rescinded an Obama-era executive order that that's not going to do anything about weed in the country. And basically, as it stands right now, marijuana is illegal in all 50 states. Whether you like it or not, it's there. And it's all as a result of a clause in the Constitution called the Supreme Law Clause. I should look that up. And that way we can learn more as we move along. The Supreme Clause law, basically, when they signed the Constitution, to prevent any jurisdictional overlaps or inconsistencies, pretty much stated that it was the United States that can make treaties and whatnot, and it was only the United States that can form these treaties. And if they pass a regulation or a law that is in conflict with a state law or regulation, the federal law trumps state. It supersedes it. It holds all judges, all state judges and all responsible for this, and makes it so that let's say if you pass a certain law about why it was, oh hey, hello Bernice in Maryland, but hello Bernice from England, I'm glad you're watching. Supreme Law of the Land. I'm looking this up right now so I can read the text. What it basically says is the Supreme Law of the Land means that when there is a conflict, the Supreme Law always wins. Article 6 of the Constitution calls for the Supremacy Clause. It states that federal laws always reign supreme in conflict of state laws. Let's get the actual verbiage up here. It's Article 6, Clause 2 of the United States Constitution. And basically what's going to happen is, under this law, Sessions is going to enforce the the Controlled Substance Act, the CSA, and which has marijuana as a Schedule 1 drug, which means it has actually no medical use or anything else. As far as I even understand it, you're not supposed to be able to research anything on marijuana in this country. So I don't know where a lot of these claims of what it can cure and what it cannot cure come from. But under this clause and under that law, marijuana cannot be legal. Bottom line, no matter what the states say or do. Now, there's some things the states can do. There's nullify, which is in the Constitution, which the states can say, no, we screw you, we nullify that. It's not real anymore. Or you and I, as citizens of the United States, as registered voting citizens of the United States, can contact their legal representatives. In my case, I've got Lou Carrera as my assemblyman, and I have Pamela Harris and Dianne Feinstein is my senator. And bring them on camera. Ad. I'm going to do this just for fun. See what happens. Ad. And the point being, in order to prevent Jeff Sessions from following through on Article 6, Clause 2 of the Constitution, the Supreme Law Clause, I don't have a good... What don't you have? You don't have a good what? Anyways, this law simply states that, we can't legalize it. So what you and I need to do as people, is to contact these elected representatives. Contact both your senators and whoever is the representative in your district in whatever state you reside where marijuana is supposedly legal. And I'm imploring people and I'm pushing people. Now, if you don't want the law changed, then write them a letter and say so. But if you really are a supporter of legalized marijuana and medical marijuana, then what you do is you write these people and you tell them flat out, you want them now to work through Congress and order the Department of Drug Enforcement to the DEA to reschedule, or you can, under the Constitution and as an acting legal body that regulates all of this, can remove marijuana from the Controlled Substance Act, and therefore specifically leaving it up to the states, each state, to vote how they want. Now, I know there's people watching, especially friends of mine, that don't believe that pot should be legal. Well, then, when it comes up to vote in your state, do that. Vote against it. In California, it's already happened. In Colorado and other states, it's already happened. So I don't know if we need a referendum or whatever to sanctify it or reaffirm it. But what needs to be done, though, is it needs to come off the Controlled Substance Act. And if you really think the CSA is unconstitutional, then we need to organize and get people together to change that, to have it repealed. Now, I recommend the old-fashioned way, and I'm talking to young people out there, you people that are millennials and you people that are Generation X and all that other, the people from the 80s on, to pick up what's called a piece of paper and another thing called a pen or even a pencil even, but to handwrite by hand, with your hand, write words that specify this specific thing, and write a physical letter and go the old snail mail route. You can also email, but I would recommend doing all of that. Email them, write them a letter, flood their friggin' offices with paper, and please, if you can, use recycled paper, because that is best for the earth. But you can push this, and you can get your people and remind them that they work for you. And if they're not willing to try and fight for that and to do that, well, next year an election is coming up, and almost all the guys in the House are up for re-election. So I can, if Lou Carrera doesn't want to do that, then I can do everything in my power to try and prevent him from returning to Washington. And if you have states where there's senators, and I'm telling you, whether they're Republican or not, if they don't want to go along with this, say goodbye to them. Get rid of them. Push them out. I mean, that's the bottom line here. So, and they realize that, I mean, the risk is minimal for some, but I think overall it could impact how they operate and how they do their job. And they have to do their job. That's what you elected them for. Remind them. And I think you should do this on more than one basis. I'm on Facebook, and on Facebook you can contact you can connect with your legal representatives. I just got a letter from Lou Carrera that apparently the, uh, the the military has lost a few $1 billion, and he's making a big deal about it. And I'm wondering, well, hey, what was your attitude when Hillary lost those billions? And what about all the other programs and other things where there's massive government waste and whatever? And I'm not saying that the military should get off free. We should find out what happened to the money. Most likely, some of it is probably in black ops projects but they should really just try to work out a way of accounting for that money without identifying or coming up with what it is. I mean, anybody see the movie Independence Day? I think Judd Hirsch said it best when they were commenting about, well, where did the money come from for this sub-secret project with this UFO sitting here? And he looked at everybody and says, do you think that a crescent wrench really cost $80,000, a toilet seat $150,000, a coffee maker $1.6 million? No, that's they come up with these numbers to hide black budget and to dark programs such as Area 31 or whatever, and the F-117, the B-1, the B-2, certain satellites, our latest and greatest, and satellites we don't even know about yet, that they're going to launch, other programs that they don't want our enemies to know about, so they bury these projects financially, because one way with our open society, with our supposedly open society and our open government, open government, right? They have to document these, and so the best way to learn some of our secrets is to dig through our budgets, and which is open to anybody. There's I think maybe if somebody's digging around certain parts of the budget, maybe there's an alert to the intelligence community and the FBI that hey, maybe you ought to look into this guy or look into this person that's using the internet or whatever to do all of this. But the bottom line is, if you want to change it, that's the way to change it. And I'm going to rant about this one for a while. In January or so, I thought, well, there's not a lot of people listening to me, and I get no feedback. So, just kind of give up on this whole live thing. But then today, or last week, actually, it started, I got to thinking, says, you know what, maybe what I ought to do is, not use my computer anymore for live video, because the camera sucks, but connect with it through it, and with my phone, and bring people up and rerun some old rants, immigration, and was it Argentina, and whatever this stupid thing called democratic socialism. What the fuck is that? I mean, pardon my language, but seriously, are you going to vote to have people remain in power and slowly take away your rights and your privileges and your ability to govern yourself? Seriously, the Constitution. These are the democratic socialism is going to be the end of our Constitution, the absolute end. And I don't think many people actually realize this, but the Constitution of the United States is the United States. It formed the United States. It created the United States. It was an agreement between 13 colonies or 13 states to band together to form a central government to help in the overall protection of what they wanted to create as a nation, as a republic, as a democratic republic. We are not a democracy. We are a republic. And our state rights people should be bringing back states' rights. We should be fighting for states' rights. And this is a way to fight for states' rights. This is one. And if you've got elected people or whatever, that if somebody in Maryland or in Alabama or Montana want to elect representatives to fight this, then fine, let them. But let's outnumber them. And if they start to return and keep coming back to keep trying to bring back these draconian days, shall we say, then we need to do something about them. Okay? We need to band together. Because unlike a presidential election, New York, California, Massachusetts, and 2 or 3 other states back east don't get the right to choose the president of the United States. You know, they may have more votes and more people in them and end up with a majority in the popular vote, but they don't have the right to elect the president. That's why we have the Electoral College, so that the people of Montana and Idaho and Kansas and some of the other small, I think it's Montana or Wyoming, only has 3 electoral votes. Do you know why? Look it up. Find out why they only have 3. Why California has 55. Look it up. Okay? So, that's my rant for today. I hope it gets out. I know I'm going to probably see, as I look back on this video, and I'll get a little, maybe get a little notification. I don't even think I can get those, actually. But I'll see that I have 4 people viewing it or viewed it right now. And it doesn't tell me if you're still there or if you're gone. You have to tell me you're still there. And it doesn't tell me when I see how many views. I have 4 right now, and maybe tonight when I'm online again and I look up and I decide to check this video and I see that I have 32 views, I have no input. I mean, and that's what's important, is let me know what you think. Let me know your opinion. Let me know your opinion. And when I go on these things, and I mean, at least that's 32 people that may have seen it and maybe agree. I don't know. But, and I'm not begging for attention. I'm just, I'm curious. I'm nosy. I just want to know what the hell people think and what people want to do about this. If you don't want legal marijuana, don't. And tell me. We can discuss it, or we cannot. We can just let it go that you don't want people to smoke pot. Personally, at this point in my life, I'm gonna have to make a declaration. I don't drink. I don't smoke weed. I don't use controlled substances other than those prescribed by a doctor or a physician. And I don't know any that prescribe cocaine or methamphetamine. But maybe my blood pressure medicine, and maybe something for my bad attitude. I don't know. But I don't smoke cigarettes. I barely, I play the lottery, and if that's gambling, then that's okay. I gamble a wee bit. But I don't chase women. I don't, well, look at me. I don't chase women. They're too damn fast now. And I don't want some old codger like me. But anyways, I don't do a lot of things. And why am I coming out on this? Because I believe in it. I believe that whether it was legally researched or there's a lot of actual fact to what I read on the internet about, what marijuana can do and what it cannot do. I know from my own personal experience. Don't get me wrong. A large piece of Columbia I wrapped around paper and inhaled, okay? Parts of Hawaii and Northern California, boom, lit that stuff right up. And, but then I stopped, 30 years ago, over 30 years ago. And over 22 years ago, I stopped drinking. And I'm happier for it. I may not be thin and prosperous, but at least I have a couple extra bucks in my pocket, and I'm happy. That's all that matters. And but I speak up for this because I do believe there are benefits. I've read some benefits, and I've talked to some people out there in the medical world or in the worlds of cancer and whatnot that have claimed that the use of this has helped them greatly in many areas. I know now when California passed the legal marijuana law, it produced what I called pot doctors that would just you would go to your doctor and you talk to him, and maybe he isn't pro weed or whatever, so you went to the guy down the street or whatever, and he said, sure, oh, hey, your back hurts, all right, here's a prescription for marijuana, and they never saw the guy again. And I don't know if they told their regular physician that they're using it. I think that that's important. I think there was something wrong in that law that kind of gave that away, because I think records should be kept, and I think data should be compiled, and there's some research there. And I would like to see some of that come about, that especially in the medical world, that, I don't know how we would do it and prevent people's privacy and their anonymity, and get them the information they need, or get the information out, that what it's doing to them and what it's doing for them, and the benefits and the side effects and whatever. And let's compile a complete database on this. I mean, seriously, if it's medicine, it's medicine, and it should be. But we don't, and which is sad, because I think this is what the country needs most of all. This is information, and information to me is power. And so let's try to be progressive about this. Let's try to think a little bit out of the box. I know, to be quite honest with you, I really wish that I was a person and in a position to have been brought in on some of the discussion of marijuana laws, especially back in California's legalization and some of that, and to put an input on the taxation and who can do what. And I would like to prevent big farms, big agriculture from producing, recreational marijuana. But I'm all for the government, especially the federal government, getting involved in that part to help produce seed that would produce a form of sativa, which is has a higher fiber content, to produce one that, hey, it's not going to really get you high, and yet you can grow tons of it in your hundreds of 100 acres of farmland, and produce hemp. And we could have ropes and canvas and clothes, and use some of the oils or whatever for lotions and whatnot, and anything that would come out of it, medical or medicinal, or a commodity or product that can be put onto the market to help people and lower the cost, maybe save a few trees, for paper and stuff like that. I just believe, I just believe in that. I mean, there was a time in this country during World War I, and I believe during World War II, that the government tried to convince farmers to grow hemp, encourage them to grow hemp for the rope and for whatnot, and add to the commodity market and help in the defense of the country and in the military side of it. So, let's think logically on this. I mean, how much let's say I should be able to grow personally without maybe incurring a tax or whatever, getting arrested? And how much can the Jenkins Company grow in their little small backyard farm, or if I had a large chunk of property up in the mountains or whatever, can I grow and sell? And I personally, in my home, like where I'm at right now, can I grow 2 or 3 plants? And if they're right, can I take them somewhere and have it graded? And that's another thing, have it graded for its medical use or its recreational use, and sell it and be able to sell it. Then I'll pay taxes, but come on, let's try to approach this. That's the thing, when we elect a lot of these people, it goes right to their heads, and it just, I don't know, it just creates such a bureaucracy and such a climate of, what the hell. But some people are willing to fight it and go through it and produce, and that's what we need. And that's again why I wish, sometimes I think sometimes my thinking as just a normal guy can help out. And I think maybe that was the intent of our founding fathers when they sort of formed a government. And it was not meant to have career politicians. It was meant to have those that either wanted to serve or and for a brief period and change out and help. I mean, the normal people, just the working day guy, Davy Crockett. And senators were appointed or elected. They were either elected within their state or they were appointed or elected by their state government, their state legislature, or the government or the governor made an appointment, and the legislature approved it. And the thing is somebody said, "Oh wow, that would, like California, that would really mess us up. They'd be all Democrats." No, because we've had Republican governors, and if California went back to something like that, maybe a couple of our senators for 6 years or so would have been Republicans. And I think that's the mix-up. That's where we go wrong. We created career politicians. We created Dianne Feinstein. California is the Mary Shelley of Dianne Feinstein. We created that monster. And she's locked it in for 40-some years. And now we have Kamala Harris, who's going to try and do the same thing. So, again, as citizens and as Americans, and if you really, really want to get involved, if you really care or have even any opinion on this issue, take 5 minutes, write a letter, send an email. If you're on Facebook, you can connect with your state representative. I get these stupid things from Dianne Feinstein and Harris that want to tell me what they're doing, and it's just like, my response is always, just do your damn job. It's not what I like. I don't believe in gun control. Shut the hell up. I really want you out of office. But please, try to do your job. I got them when they were blaming Trump and everybody for the shutdown. I said, dude, you're the shutdown. Do your freaking job. Okay? I got one today from Lou Harris or Lou Carilla about the budget, and I was going to say something, but a lot of people were constituents responding back. He says, look, you're more worried about the illegal immigrant than you are really this. This is a dodge to get away from what we feel. You need to do your job about immigration. You need to protect our borders. You need to, enforce the law. And speaking of the law, here's a little tidbit that you may like. The U.S. What is the oldest legal document still enforced? Are you ready for this? It's the United States Constitution. Is the oldest legal document in the world that is still enforced. Well, relatively enforced. I think now we have a bunch of yokels or jackals in Congress and in the Senate that just they could really give a shit. It's funny. I'm watching on Facebook now a bunch of Hillary supporters and Obama supporters that were so against that are so against Trump that they're starting to quote the Constitution. But back when those people were violating it, they were mum. They would argue against. No, he's not. Yes, he was. Yes, he did. Okay, and I'm sure Bush did, and I know Bill did, and Reagan did. Carter, I'm not so sure about. Carter is considered probably the worst president still, but I believe people are starting to look differently at Jimmy Carter. I mean, that he may not have been as bad as people think. I think Carter was an honorable man who stepped up and took responsibility for what happened in our country, and he paid the price. People attacked him for it. The Republican Party went after him, and Reagan went after him, and he lost. And then the Democrats tried to do that with Bush Sr. He's a wuss, he's a wimp, whatever. But he at least won one term. And so stop getting out of the partisan politics and start looking at what is best for the nation and what is best for your state. And quite honestly, I'm living in a state that's basically going to tax me out of it. I'm looking at possibly leaving. I mean, why? I can't afford to stay here. I mean, who can? Unless you're absolutely rich, who can really afford to stay here? If I wanted to start a business, I would be poorer than I am now because of, apparently from what I've read from some of my constituents on Facebook, uh, trying to make money and trying to be successful is greed. Okay. Uh, Guy attacked the pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals is an interesting subject because there's probably some truth in it, but I don't think he realizes or wants to accept the fact that the people that design and build or make and create the new drugs still have student loans for their doctorates and for their master's degrees and whatnot in chemistry and medicine and whatnot, and are paid and should be paid respectable salaries for their knowledge and for their expertise, and that the regulations of the federal government add probably 30 or 40% more onto the cost of a drug that's going to go out to the market. And I think a company should recuperate some of its losses on the development of a program because it takes years. It takes a decade or more to get a new drug legalized and pushed to the open market. All the testing and everything else comes out of the company's pockets. And of course, the sad part is if you make money and you're successful at it, you're greedy. Well, okay, but these same people, what about Bill Gates? What about Jobs and his family that inherited his massive amount of wealth? There's so many more. Jodie Foster has been quoted as saying, to save your money or to keep your money is greed and whatnot, and yet she has a net value of $100 million. And then Comrade Bernie Sanders, friggin' communist man, owns 2 mansions, multiple expensive cars. I've seen him get in and out of an Audi. And not just an R8. I mean, one of the top of the line Audis, expensive car. And his wife is now under indictment for some sort of, theft of some kind or whatever. But these people have millions of dollars. And yet they want to tell us about what's it. I think, if you want to regulate stuff, I think we ought to regulate the entertainment industry. It needs to be controlled and it needs to be watched and evaluated closely and constantly investigated so that children are not touched and abused, so women are not sexually abused, so even some men are not sexually abused. And then the power games and the manipulation and the massive acclamation of wealth is prevented. And people like George Clooney are reminded that they're just citizens of this country. I'm all for your opinion, but I'll tell you what, to all you stars and whatever that threatened us to leave, that you're going to leave this country if Trump was elected, why didn't you leave? I mean, did you lie to us? Did you really? Am I supposed to accept the word of someone like Rosie O'Donnell and Whoopi Goldberg and Amy Schumer and George Clooney and so many others that said that, and then they didn't leave? Were you lying? Did you lie to us? You want to talk about honesty and oh God, just honesty. Okay, let's just go with honesty. Because they have no honor. They lied to us. They flat out lied to you and tried to scare you and threaten you. It was because, what's going to happen? Is the country going to crumble because Barbara Streisand moves to Australia? Okay? Go. We're not stopping you. This is a country that doesn't require that you live here. You can make that choice. This country was built on immigration and will allow you to immigrate to another country if you so wish. My problem is with illegal immigration. And my problem is with those that don't really want to be an American. If you don't like it here, I mean, if I don't like a restaurant, if the food is lousy, I don't go back. If the services sucks while I'm there and whatever, I leave. I don't have to put up with that. I don't need that. My daily life is aggravating enough that I don't have to put up with a lot. And if I don't like, and at this point, if I'm not liking the way California is trying to tax me out, fine, I'll go. I'll leave. I get the message. And I agree. And if this country was that bad, was that evil, was that wrong, I'd stay in Lake Como there, George. Okay? Whether they're, you mean you're pro refugee. What was wrong with all the refugees that were moving into Lake Como because Switzerland had shut the border, that you had to leave? Why did you have to leave London? Why was it unsafe? Was it because Americans were moving there? Because there were more Americans because it was becoming Americanized? Is that what it was? So you moved back to Hollywood? But you hate this country? You hate the President of the United States? Anyways, I'm off the rant. The rant is contact your elected representatives and tell them what you think about legal marijuana in this state and in your home state. So, oh, hello, Patty. Bring them on camera. Hello, Patty. I am glad you are here watching. Again, you seem to have to jump in too late on my rant. My rant is about legal marijuana, or illegal marijuana, actually. We went through it all, that it's actually illegal, and that you should probably, good idea to write your senators and your congressperson, your representative, and tell them that you want it removed from the Controlled Substance Act. So yet I kind of went off let the train get off the rails, and I should probably go now. I'm on way too long. I'm going to let this compile, and I'm going to watch it on my computer. I wish, like I said, always welcome to have anyone comment or to the video if you watch it after I go offline. I know I'm going to see multiple views, and there's one. If you want to I want to get a hold of Facebook and say, dude, I see that I can see all these people, and I can't find out who was the ones that viewed my video, after I shut down. So anyways, God bless you all. Have a good day.